Summer is now at the end. There's just a few more weeks, and we are going to be into autumn, and everything is still really green, but there is a few changes. You can see here in the leaves, they are just starting to turn a little bit, and also just the lighting is turning into that autumnal kind of feel. The garden itself has done very well this year. This is the 4th year that I've been gardening here, and I've had about 2 years where I've had it harvest. This year I had a lot of tomatoes, potatoes, some greens and herbs, and it was a very cold spring, so the garden didn't do as well with the seeds. And I am already starting to plan my next year garden, and also some things that will be a little bit more permanent. But we do have some projects around the house with the exterior, the painting, so I can't have too many things around the property because I need to get that done with the painting. The exterior of the house will be something that I want to work on. And then also the privacy fence. There's a temporary fence that is around 3 different fencings from 3 different neighbors. Of course, their fencings look different, and also they're at different heights. And with having a dog, I needed everything to be higher, and also I wanted it to look nicer where it's just one fence that I'm looking at and not these different kinds of fences. That's a little bit more expensive, so that will probably come last. The first thing, the exterior needs to be painted, and then there can be more planting or more planning around in the areas that I'm thinking of. I have been making some changes in the garden, but I don't like to do too many because at this point it just keeps causing some of the plants to not thrive as much when you keep moving them. And as well, they're all so young. A lot of these plants I got from clearance or something where I bought that was very small. So it's been really nice to see them grow and become really lush. And I do like the idea that I'm gardening kind of in an antique way. I like to think of my garden as maybe 100 years ago, how it would have looked. I think I only use my mixer in the summer for my Victoria sponge because I don't do any baking in the summer. This is a very basic recipe, and I did double it because I want that bigger sponge. And then, of course, the cream, the berries, and the preserves with it. I also made a home blessing in the heart of our home, and this is the kitchen. This is where everything happens. We come in and leave, and a lot of conversations. And I used my crystals, lavender, rose, sunflower, and also the candle, and just something where it's the blessing where you are moving from one season to the next. And this is for abundance, protection, and love and self-love. And it was really fun to do. And I wanted to also add a little bit more of that change of resetting into that new season. I would have to say the star of my garden was my lilacs, and even though these do not blossom in the summer, this was from the spring. They were very small plants that I planted. They were one of the first plants that I planted when I first moved here, and it's been just amazing to see how well they've done. They're very tiny, but they have really big blooms, and they have just grown so much even from springtime, and the smell is so divine. This has probably been the star of the garden, I would have to say, this last year. And I did have some other florals that I planted. The cosmos are always something that I love to see, and some wildflowers. And there were some other things like zinnia and stock, and there's going to be more. But as I said, I did planted some of these a little bit too early and they didn't do as well, and I just left it And also I did have a rose bush that did not make it from the winter, and my lavender did not make it. So that was really sad. So that will be something I'll have to reestablish for next year. But I would say as I'm putting the garden to bed, my star of my garden was definitely my lilacs. This year, because it's getting a little bit cooler already, I decided to bring the rest of the tomatoes in off the vine and let them finish ripening inside. And I did harvest a lot from my basket. I have a huge basket, and I'm going to make tomato juice. I'm going to try a very simple recipe. I'm going to change a few things. You can even freeze tomato juice, but what I'll do with most of the tomatoes, I will cut them kind of where you core them, and then I'll put them in little bags and freeze them, and I'll use them throughout the winter in my sauces, and then also I'll have tomato juice. So that's the only thing I'm planning with my harvest. Everything else, I have dried some herbs, but everything else we really have been using up right away. These are some of my mood board inspirations that I want to use maybe for next year. I do think I need some fencing around the garden beds. So I'm thinking I would try first the wire, and then I'll add that look where it looks a little bit more with the wood around it. I also want to have more pots. I only have a few that I've thrifted, and I do really love them, but I think it'd be nice to have a few more. And also because when you move into autumn, you can leave the pots out a little bit longer, and I think that looks really nice. Please like the video and please subscribe.